All right, everybody, welcome to Coming Off the Bench, episode 5. I apologize for not doing it yesterday. I have just been absolutely slammed with midterms, and my body just decided to shut down yesterday and today. So I apologize for getting it out to you guys later than I wanted to, but better late than never, in my opinion. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about what in the Sam hell is going on with the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. Just absolutely, I don't want to say, you know, indespicable or indescribable or inexplicable. I think that's the word I'm trying to find. Um, but just like absolute chaos that the Cleveland Browns organization is just putting everybody through right now. Um, and if you guys have seen my video with my last video on Wednesday, we talked about how this whole Deshaun Watson situation with his shoulder is pretty much feeling like we've gone back in time to 2021 with Baker Mayfield and his shoulder injury. Now, granted, the shoulder injury that Baker sustained is far more worse than what Deshaun sustained. Um, but the handling by Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry is, you would have thought that they have learned nothing by the way that they have responded to this. Um, and for some reason, we still cannot get an answer about what is going on with the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. And I'm going to be talking about a couple of reports that just came out um, that pretty much we're still dealing with right now with Deshaun Watson. And I'll get this set up for you guys right now, but we've legitimately just gotten to the point where nothing is making any sense. We're getting so many different reports about Deshaun Watson and his injury. It's just ridiculous. Um, there was a report that just came out today by Adam Schefter that we're going to talk about. Um, I do want to get into that because, again, we're just getting so many different reports and rumors that are going around. It just makes zero sense right now. And um, we're going to talk about, what the Browns reporters had to say about Adam Schefter's report that just came out, like I want to say 35, 40 minutes ago. Um, and hopefully, we can talk about it. But let's get on with the chat here. Whatever. Hey, what's up going on, K Wilson? What's up, bro? We are going to suck this year. Might as well get used to the idea. I don't want to say that. I don't want to go that far yet. Um, it's only been 4 games. It's going to be 5 games after tomorrow. You're going to be 2-3. I don't want to go that far and say the season's over. I'm not going that far yet. Um, but yeah, I'm. It's not. I just don't understand how they've gotten to the point to where they've just absolutely fumbled the bag with describing what's going on. Um, what's going on, Epic Gamer? Thank you for coming out. Case Keenum, Jacoby Brissett all looks pretty good under Kevin. Yet Deshaun has looked like crap. Yeah, I mean, the problem is though is that we saw like Case Keenum, Deshaun Watson's better than Case Keenum. Let's not go hyperbolic with that. Deshaun Watson's better than Case Keenum. He's better than Jacoby Brissett. Um, but yeah, I mean Deshaun Watson so far has not lived up to the haul that you had to give up and the price tag that you've paid um, for him. And I'm going to be doing a video later on this week because if you guys remember, we had that whole thing about Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson about because their trades were pretty much um, they were pretty much similar to what the Broncos and the Browns gave up for Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. I did some research going into their trades and their respective um, play. So I'm going to be doing a video about that later on in this week. At least I'm planning on it. So, but yeah, definitely very interesting stuff I found from that. Um, yeah, I think you guys are going to be able to. I think you guys are going to like that a lot. Um, can't believe anything Barry or Stefanski says. They said Baker was the guy, then got rid of him. Said Cade York was safe, then gone. Well, I mean, too, like Baker. The problem with Baker was that nobody handled that situation great at all. Um, Nobody handled that at all. One, Baker wanted to play because he was going into a contract year. Like he was going into his 5th-year option year. I think the Browns had already picked it up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we already picked up his 5th-year option. So he would have been here last year. Like he would have been here. Um, and Jason Lloyd on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, he literally said, and I agree with him 100%. If he sat out for 2021 and he just got that surgery, he would have been the quarterback. Like we would not have gone after Deshaun Watson. I don't think. At least not after what he's been accused of and all the PR stuff and what's been going on. Like there is no reason for me to believe that Baker Mayfield would not have been the quarterback for the next couple of years here. Plus, in my opinion, I know that they've been talking about how they thought that because Deshaun Watson was head and shoulders above Baker Mayfield in terms of production, like in 2020, like we can all agree, Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback overall statistically than uh, than Baker Mayfield. Like overall, he is a better talent than Baker Mayfield. Yes, I understand Baker Mayfield um, led the Browns to their first playoff appearance since 2002. He led us to our first playoff win since the 80s or the 90s. But let's be honest here and not go revisionist history. He also wasn't the best guy at all, but he was the best guy that we had at that time. And like I said, I wholeheartedly, I wholeheartedly agree that he would still be the quarterback for this team if he decided to just sit down, get the surgery, and prepare for his 5th-year option. Because then, if he does well in his 5th-year option, you would be getting a lot of money. And he didn't do it. He tried to bet on himself, and he lost. And now, I'm glad that he's doing well in Tampa right now. But like I said this before, just wait for the other shoe to drop with Baker because he'll give you a couple of decent games. He'll give you decent games. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield is trash or he's like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, but he'll give you some great moments, and then at the same time, he'll give you some of the worst moments you've seen. So that's my thing. Then Cade York. Cade York was not going to work here. I mean, there's no reason why Cade York should have been here after his preseason performance. There's no reason why he should have. He should be here. And it's good that we got Dustin Hopkins because Dustin Hopkins has only missed 1 field goal, and he's been great for the Browns. Now I'd like to see him do what he's been doing in 30-degree weather, 40-degree weather with the winds going 20 miles an hour off of Lake Erie. But so far so good with Dustin Hopkins. What's going on, Ryan? Why can't Deshaun Watson give an interview? This is suspect. Well, that's the other thing that I want to get into because supposedly he did give an update to Tom Withers of the AP, who's a Browns reporter for the AP. And there's the whole funny thing is that that Deshaun Watson, Jake Trotter for ESPN, he's notorious Baker bro, likes Baker Mayfield a lot, and I guess he went up to Deshaun in the locker room yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe, asking him for an update about his shoulder, and he wouldn't give it to Jake Trotter. And then, like, legitimately 5-10 minutes later, Tom Withers comes out with a tweet saying, just spoke to Deshaun Watson about his shoulder. He said he's following all the medical rehab protocols. So, like I said, it doesn't get any better today from today's report, okay, from Adam Schefter. because I did see the report too, Ryan, that we're going to be talking about it. That Deshaun Watson from Adam Schefter said that Deshaun Watson may come back as early as next week for Indianapolis. But like I said, I'm not holding out hope because they literally said that for the last 2 weeks before this game. You had Stefanski going out there after the Ravens game saying that Deshaun's fine, he's going to play. Even before then the Ravens game, he said that he was going to play. Kevin Stefanski said he was going to play. Come game day, can't play. Then you get to the bye-week press conference with Andrew Berry. Oh, Deshaun, is taking it week by week, taking it day by day. But we full-heartedly believe that he's going to take this time to get well, and he'll play most definitely against the 49ers. Well, then you get to the point where it's Wednesday or Thursday, and they've already ruled him out for the game against San Francisco. So, like I said, we've gotten to the point where you already had this problem with shoulders with your quarterback with Baker Mayfield. This is definitely not as bad as what Baker had gone through, but you've gotten to a point where you've been through this once before, and you handled it like crap. You've handled it terribly with Baker Mayfield and his situation. Now you're in a situation with Deshaun Watson and his shoulder, and you're making the same mistakes that you made with Baker Mayfield 2 years ago. So did you learn anything from the situation that you were already in or not? Because right now, the way that they're handling it, they're giving way too many mixed signals. Is Deshaun Watson hurt enough to not play games in the next week? Because that's my thing. Because they said for the last 3 weeks, Deshaun Watson's going to play. Deshaun Watson's going to play. Deshaun Watson's going to play. He's doing rehab. He's taking his assignments. He's going to do well. Deshaun Watson's going to play. And then come game day, he's not going to play. So either they're not telling us everything, they're lying. Either they've 100% underestimated how hurt he is. Third, Deshaun Watson's underestimating and not telling him how hurt he is. I mean, there's so many different possibilities that have come out the last couple of days to where, what's going on. Because then you had a report with Mary Kay Cabot from the other day that said that now, instead of we went from shoulder contusion, right? We went from having a shoulder contusion to now it's a rotator cuff contusion. Now it's a rotator cuff contusion that may be a strain. And now instead of being out, anywhere from week to week, now he could be out from 2 to 6 weeks. Now it's more looking like he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So once again, either he was misdiagnosed by the trainers, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are lying and they're not saying how badly he's hurt. Third, Deshaun Watson's not saying how badly he's hurt. There's so many different possibilities about what the actual truth is. And the problem is that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, all they had to do was just come out and say, we don't know if he's going to play. We don't know. It's all up to Deshaun. The medical staff cleared him to play. Okay, now we need to see if he's going to get better. Deshaun Watson, the problem is that Deshaun Watson didn't throw anything at practice this last week. He did it 2 weeks ago before the Ravens game started. He didn't do anything this week. He said they said he threw with trainers inside of the practice facility this week. But what does that mean? How did he look? Was he throwing it more than 10 yards like he couldn't do after before the Ravens game started? Can he throw more than 10 yards? Is there any progress that's going on? Because Jason Lloyd said he was in the locker room this past week and he said that he saw Deshaun Watson not using his right arm at all and using everything with his left hand to try and grab stuff from his locker. So what is going on? That's the problem with Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry right now, is that they have gone from saying the dumb stuff out loud with saying that, Deshaun was medically cleared to play, but then he couldn't go. So that was the whole thing that kicked this thing off. Then you get to the snowball effect where, well, Deshaun, we expect him to play. We'll see what's going on. Now you're getting to the point where we don't know if Deshaun's going to play. Like, at some point, someone's got to take the reins of this thing and just say, this is what's going on. This is what we know so far. This is what we're doing right now to make sure he's going to be ready for the stretch of the season. Because right now, the Browns have a shot to take control of this division and get themselves solidified into that AFC playoff picture. Because let's be honest right now, nobody in this division or in this conference besides maybe Buffalo and Miami are really looking like standout teams right now. Because you have Kansas City, who's having some problems of their own. Granted, they're still Kansas City. Like Chargers, they're not that formidable to me. Brandon Staley as their head coach legitimately is one of the dumbest play callers you can ever see. Broncos are terrible. Raiders are terrible. Nobody in the AFC South is doing pretty good. Maybe except for like Houston and Jacksonville. Jacksonville's like the only one that you have faith for in the future, at least during the later part of the season, because they have the opportunity to go to the playoffs. So I'm not worried about the Colts. I'm not worried about the Texans from there, nor am I that worried about the Titans. AFC East is like the only division that you actually have multiple playoff teams, even with the AFC North. So the Browns have an opportunity to take reign and take control of their destiny for the season. But the problem is that the Browns fans are in a predicament where we don't know what to expect because the Browns have not told us what to expect. That's why it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Emmett says we should have never traded for Deshaun Watson. Slowly, I'm turning that way right now, Emmett. I'm slowly turning that way. The curse, I'm afraid, is real. I've been a fan since the fumble in the drive. Yeah, I know, Ryan. Bro, the 49ers are going to beat the shit out of us. Yeah, they are. I mean, the only thing that I have faith in is our defense, because our defense is relatively healthy. And then, Jim Schwartz is 6-1, 7-1 against Kyle Shanahan. And it's going to be raining. And the thing that sucks is that this would have been such a great game to have Nick Chubb in. Oh my God. This is like prototypical Nick Chubb game for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's insane. This would have been a nice game for Nick Chubb, but I think you're going to have Jerome Ford carry you, and then your defense is going to have to probably score a touchdown here and get some turnovers. That's the only way I think you win this game, or at least stay in it competitively. Brian says, I just think Stefanski knows how to drive a nice car, but he doesn't know how to drive a sports car. Yeah, you could maybe say that like a metaphorically, definitely. I don't know. The problem with Stefanski is that there are times where his scheme works. His scheme does work. But the problem is that, one, sometimes the guys don't play well, or two, he overcomplicates everything. There's no in between with Stefanski. That's why, I've said this for the last couple of years, because a lot of times Stefanski fans like to point out the fact 2020 he led us to the playoffs and he was the coach of the year. So obviously he's a good coach because he won coach of the year. Well, I don't put anything in a coach of the year, because you know who also won coach of the year? Matt Nagy with the Chicago Bears. Remember him? Remember Matt Nagy? Remember how he went to the wild card game with the Bears against the Eagles, had double doink, and it. Remember that? Remember when he won that? I don't care. I don't care. I do not care about coach of the year. Um, but yeah, Stefanski is not a top tier coach. He's a middle of the road guy. Guys like he's not in the group of Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan. Um, I would say to a lesser extent Sean McDermott. He's not in like that category. Uh, if you could, I don't know. I don't want to say he's like Mike McCarthy because Mike McCarthy actually has like gone to the playoffs multiple times with the Dallas Cowboys and he's actually won a Super Bowl. I'm I'm trying to think of like a good comparison. I don't want to say I don't want to say either Brandon Staley because I don't think Stefanski does like dumb stuff as much as Brandon Staley, but he's in that same category. I'll just go out and say it. He's like Brandon Staley. Um, like he just overcomplicates everything. I don't understand. I've said this for like the last 2 years. The problem that I have with Stefanski, one, is he overcomplicates everything. And there's 4th and 1, you don't need to have Harrison Bryant do a flea flicker or an option pitch to DTR, who then throws it downfield to Amari Cooper. Like, what team does that? You just take the QB sneak. Just do it. But the problem is that none of our QBs know how to sneak the ball, apparently, because we never run a QB sneak. I don't know how we've gotten quarterbacks who don't know how to QB sneak, but we do. None of our QBs know how to QB sneak. But that's one of my problems I have with Stefanski. The other problem I have of Stefanski is his clock management. His clock management is horrible. I have seen so many games that we're on the last drive of the game, and he just decides to let the clock run. They try and do hurry up offense, and by the time they get the play set and all that, they've wasted 15 seconds, and then they, instead of using their 2 timeouts that they have, his clock management is horrible too. But that's what I said. Everybody, including myself, after 2020 was thinking that this guy was going to be one of the better coaches in the NFL. The problem is that he's not. He's just a run-of-the-mill guy who is just he's not going to win you a ton of games. He's not going to be the reason why you win a game. I think that's where I've come down with on Stefanski. He's not going to be the reason why you win a game, but he definitely will be the reason why you lose a game. I don't think you'll win in spite of him. I don't think that at all. But it's been a long time from where we have seen a game from Kevin Stefanski where you go, wow, the game plan around that team was magnificent. That was just a magnificent performance by Kevin Stefanski. It's not his case. It's not the case with Kevin Stefanski. Oh, hold on. I forgot to put this on here. Hold on. There we go. That makes it a lot better. But yeah, let's see what else here. Kid Wilson, Miles doesn't know how to drive a sports car either. That's fucked. That's messed up, man. It's true though. It's true. Ryan says Shanahan had Brian Hoyer and Browns in first place before Manziel. I remember that debacle. Yeah, I remember. We were after that Thursday night game in Cincinnati when we won. I genuinely thought that we were going to go to the playoffs and win the division. I genuinely thought that. But then, Brian Hoyer loses the next 2 games. You get to 7-6. And then good old Jimmy Haslam decides to call up and go, let's go play Money Manziel. Let's go play him. Johnny Football. Let's go play Johnny Football. And he gets absolutely clapped 33-0 or 30-0 against the Bengals in his debut. That season, a bunch of highs and lows, man. I remember too, after watching that Saints game early in this season, I thought we were going to be, holy crap. I was like, wow, the Browns actually might be good. Wow, we may actually be decent. And then Jimmy Haslam, man. Jimmy Haslam. Baker knew how to QB sneak. He did. Baker carried Stefanski, not the other way around. I'm not agreeing with you there at all, Justin. Nah. I'm not going there yet. Nope. No, I'm not going there yet. Um, yeah, but the other thing I want to talk about um, Ryan's comment about um, Shanahan, because we all know Kyle Shanahan, the coach of the 49ers, he used to be the OC here. I think we all know about the PowerPoint presentation and that whole debacle during that year. Um, because what I want to talk about with that, and I know we've been all over the place in this episode so far, but um, I do want to talk about what I'm starting to believe is the main problem with the Cleveland Browns. You know what? I may actually record this part. I may actually record this part for a video, so you guys may actually be seeing this as a preview for my next video. So let's just do that. How about that? Let's make a video right now, or at least record one. Okay, so I want to get into my main thesis about why I think the Cleveland Browns are a cursed organization, at least so far. Um, and I think it's because of one guy and one guy only, and why the Browns have not been able to win. That one guy, you could actually say it's actually a family. That one family is the Haslams. The Haslams, in my opinion, are the main reason why the Browns have not been able to be successful as they should be. Because going into my point, like I was saying about Kyle Shanahan with their PowerPoint presentation, we all remember 2014, if you guys do, or you guys remember that season at all. We had Mike Pettin as our head coach, Shanahan as our offensive coordinator. I don't remember who our DC was. Was it Jim O'Neill as our DC? Was that the year we had Jim O'Neill? I know Ray Farmer was our GM. But that whole season was had the black mark of death on it. After we drafted Johnny Manziel, and supposedly that being Jimmy Haslam's input on who the GM in the front office should get in the draft. Because remember, the whole thing that came out afterwards was that the GM at the time, Ray Farmer, and the Browns organization wanted Teddy Bridgewater. They wanted to draft Teddy Bridgewater in the first round with that 22nd pick. But then Haslam bought it in and said he wanted Johnny Football. That whole thing was absolutely insane. And I think this is where we get to the point where the PowerPoint comes into effect, where, if you guys do not know, Kyle Shanahan, at the end of the season, before he essentially resigned from being the offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, he came out with a PowerPoint, and it's very hush around the Browns right now, because it's very embarrassing. Kyle Shanahan, before he essentially resigned as the offensive coordinator for the Browns, came in with a PowerPoint to Jimmy Haslam, and D Haslam was supposedly there, and a bunch of other people. I don't know if it was all ownership group or front office guys, but essentially he came out with a PowerPoint presentation about how the Browns can fix themselves, and how if he became head coach, he would like this person to stay away from the team or not be as involved in the team. He'd like to get this person involved. He'd like to get this person. This person has to go. This person has to go, etc., etc., etc. And he said that the only way that the Browns can be able to be successful is if they followed this, guideline that he would like to, set. Well, unfortunately, Jimmy Haslam said, not going to happen. And Kyle Shanahan basically said, well, here's my papers. I'm out of here. Because the way that you're running this franchise, it's not going to be successful. Then, lo and behold, Kyle Shanahan goes on to Atlanta. 3 years later, he's in the Super Bowl. And then goes 28-3. And that was that. But now he's the head coach of the 49ers. He's been the head coach for, I think, 3 years, since 2017, I believe. And they've been to, 3 NFC championship games, been to a Super Bowl. Just absolutely a great head coach. We've gotten to the point where Jimmy Haslam has had his fingerprints around this franchise since 2012. So it's been 11 years. It's going to be 12 years that Jimmy Haslam has been the owner of the Cleveland Browns. We have seen where Jimmy Haslam has single-handedly destroyed the Cleveland Browns as a team and as an organization. I am not being hyperbolic by that statement because you guys already know what I'm talking about with Johnny Manziel. They did the same thing with Kyle Shanahan. They did the same thing in 2017 when they went on with the whole tanking operation. The guy, from my conclusion, Jimmy Haslam and Dee Haslam do not know how to run a football organization. And the one team I can compare them to, at least the one ownership group that I can kind of compare them to, and they are the polar opposites in terms of results, is the Dolans with the Guardians. And the reason why I say that is because the Dolans, their main problem is that they are successful, but they run this team like they run the Guardians like a business instead of a baseball team. They run the Cleveland Guardians like an actual family business instead of a baseball team. They don't want to put any money into the they don't want to put any money into the team where they can't make a profit. That's the problem that we have with the Dolans. They don't want to spend any money. They're good. They are fine. Chris Antonetti came out and said this a couple months ago. They are fine with just being good enough. They're fine with being good enough. The problem is that you're not going to win that way. You're not. But we also have seen on the other side with Jimmy Haslam has spent the money. Jimmy Haslam has spent like a crap ton of money on the Cleveland Browns as a team. But the problem is that Jimmy Haslam has spent the money in the wrong places. And what I mean by that is, if you guys do not know, at one point, the Cleveland Browns as an organization had 5 or 6 coaches on their payroll. They were spending $50 million on head coaches, where the majority of them were not even on the team anymore. You've had decision making by Jimmy Haslam on this team that has, in my opinion, set this team back multiple years. And we're seeing it right now. Because you guys have said in the chat here, you guys are souring on the Deshaun Watson trade. And we can all blame Andrew Berry. We can all blame Kevin Stefanski for not, we can blame Kevin Stefanski for not having Deshaun, perform as well as he should on the field. We can, blame Stefanski for not having a good game plan, making some terrible decisions on the field. We can blame Andrew Berry for not getting guys good enough or trading guys away or just, trying to take guys that are, in the later rounds and not get the guys who are surefire right there. But at the end of the day, if you guys want to complain about the Deshaun Watson trade and how Deshaun Watson's going right now, you guys have to blame one guy, and I think it's Jimmy Haslam. Because Deshaun Watson, let's face it, Deshaun Watson's not here without Jimmy Haslam's approval. He is not getting $230 million from Andrew Berry. He's not getting $230 million fully guaranteed by Kevin Stefanski. He's getting $230 million fully guaranteed because of Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam wanted Deshaun Watson. Andrew Berry wanted Deshaun Watson. You can blame Andrew Berry for getting rid of those 3 first-round picks. Kevin Stefanski wanted Deshaun Watson because he thought he would be a good fit for the offense. But at the end of the day, I think most of your blame has to go towards Jimmy Haslam because Deshaun Watson said no to the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson said he was not going to come here because he did not want to play in colder weather. He did not want to play in Lake Erie. He did not. It was only until Jimmy Haslam offered him $230 million fully guaranteed, the largest contract in NFL history. That was when Deshaun Watson decided, you know what? I actually don't mind playing in snowy weather on December 18th or December 24th. I don't mind playing in minus 30-degree weather on December 24th with 2,000 people in the stands while I'm freezing my balls off. I don't mind that at all because you know why? I'm getting paid $62 million a year. Some of you guys in the chat here have talked about you guys wish that Baker Mayfield was here. Baker Mayfield was better. You know who wanted to get rid of Baker Mayfield? Jimmy Haslam. He made the comment during the offseason. Remember when the whole debacle was going on about who are the Browns going to get as their quarterback? Are they going to go after Jimmy G? Are they going to go after Derek Carr? Is Deshaun Watson still in contention? Are they going to go after this guy? What's going on with Baker Mayfield? They came out with a comment. It was reported by ESPN that Jimmy Haslam said they wanted an adult as their quarterback. This is the problem. The Browns are not going to win anything. We're not. We're not going to win anything until Jimmy Haslam either decides to butt out of the team and just let people go and do their jobs and not get involved as much as he has, or he has to sell the team. But he's not going to sell the team. He's not going to sell the team. It's not a realistic possibility. But that's my thing, is that the main reasons why we've seen the problems with the Cleveland Browns has all stemmed around one person. There is one constant. There's been one constant in the Cleveland Browns organization for the last 11 years. There's been one constant. And that has been Jimmy Haslam. Actually, you could say two constants. That's Jimmy Haslam and Paul DePodesta. And I haven't gotten into the Paul DePodesta thing yet. Actually, do you want me to get into Paul DePodesta stuff? Because I have a lot to say about him too. Let's actually get into Paul DePodesta. Let's talk about this dude. Paul DePodesta, his whole thing has been Moneyball with the Oakland Athletics. This guy has been around since 2014. Paul DePodesta has been the cockroach of the Cleveland Browns organization because every regime has changed except for Paul DePodesta. Somehow, someway, his analytical mind, his genius, is so great to Jimmy Haslam that he's just decided never to fire him. Even though that a lot of his analytical stuff has not worked. There's only been 1 year where he's been here with the analytical stuff that has actually been decent. And yet, somehow, some way, this guy doesn't even work at Berea. He doesn't even live in Ohio. He doesn't even go and work at the team headquarters where he is an employee of. This dude works from his home in California. And yet he still has a huge hold over that organization. And that goes back to Jimmy Haslam. So like I said, the Cleveland Browns are in a situation where I think we're in the same boat like the Indianapolis Colts with Jim Irsay. Because it's the same thing with the Colts. The Colts had Andrew Luck. We had talent. And it has not been there. We're in a situation where Jimmy Haslam has put his paw prints over the entire organization. And it hasn't worked. And for some God known reason, he just does not see it that way. Now, we can give him some credit. He at least spends the money. He's not like the Dolans, where he doesn't spend the money. But the problem is that, like I said before in the beginning, Jimmy Haslam spends the money in the wrong places. He had 6 head coaches on his payroll for $50 million. He's allowed Andrew Berry to give guys like Jack Conklin multi-million-dollar-a-year extensions, even though their injury history has been abysmal. Same thing with Jedrick Wills. Has allowed that dude to get his 5th-year option and to have more guaranteed money. One constant has been Jimmy Haslam. That has been the main reason why the Browns have not been able to have had constant success. There's only been one constant. You cannot blame everything on Kevin Stefanski. You cannot blame everything on Andrew Berry because they haven't been here for that long. They've been here for 4 years. They haven't been here that long. The reason why the Browns went 0-16 in 2017, the reason why they went 3-36-1 wasn't because, of Kevin Stefanski or anything. It was Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam brought Hugh Jackson back for a 3rd year after he went 1-31. Who does that? Who does that? He brought back Sashi Brown no, he didn't bring Sashi Brown back. He fired him towards the end of 2017. But he brought back Hugh Jackson from 1-31. The one constant, the one reason why the Browns have not been successful, as they should be, is because of Jimmy Haslam. And I'm afraid I've gotten to the point where the Browns are not going to be successful until Jimmy Haslam stops touching everything in the Cleveland Browns organization, stops manipulating it, or he sells the team. Unfortunately, I don't think either is going to happen. And until then, we're going to have Jimmy D and his son and Paul DePodesta, that whole trio of guys, or the whole kit and caboodle, that whole team, are going to continue to scratch their heads and go, why aren't we being successful? We have tried everything. And I think it's going to have to get to the point where they're going to have to look themselves in the mirror and go, are we the bad guys? Because right now, they are. They're the one constant. That is the reason why the Browns have not been successful. It's because of the Haslams. That is my take. All right. That's my rant done with Jimmy Haslam. Let's get on to the chat here. Okay. Guys said a lot while I was ranting. Holy crap. Okay. Ryan, oh yeah, Farmer texting coaches during games. Yeah, I was at the game where he was texting people too. At the Tennessee game. I remember that. Beast Grill says, man, I tell you, Browns know how to shoot themselves in the foot, especially when it comes down to making decisions in the front office. Yeah, like I said, you can be mad at Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski all you want. They're temporary problems. The long-term problem for this organization is the owner. It's Jimmy Haslam and the ownership group. That's been the problem. But the problem is that they're not going to rid themselves of power. They're not going to give up power. They're not going to they're not going to set themselves back and let things play out. They're going to have to fuck around with stuff. They're going to have to put stuff in their hands and go, what's going on? They're going to have to manipulate everything. That they're the main constant. If you want to blame anybody for why the Browns have sucked, go look at what the Haslams have been doing the last 12 years. Justin Space, getting rid of Dorsey was Haslam's biggest mistake. The best players are Dorsey's. Sure, but you also have to say, too, Dorsey picking Freddie Kitchens legitimately was one of the dumbest decisions that you could possibly have made as a GM. Because even, granted, Greg Williams is not the perfect source for talking about what happened, right? During that 2018 to 2019 transition. But he said basically that John Dorsey wanted to have more control over what Greg Williams wanted to do. And Greg Williams said, I don't want you to have more control. I don't want that. That's not how I'm going to work with you. I don't want to work with you like that. So then John Dorsey picked Freddie Kitchens instead because he knew Freddie Kitchens was not going to backtalk John Dorsey. And he essentially wanted a puppet. And Freddie Kitchens turned out to be one of the worst head coaches in Cleveland Browns history. That's not hyperbole to me. He's still not Hugh Jackson bad, but he's probably the next guy up there. And then you have Pat Shurmur probably right above them too. All right, Ryan Burlow or a trucking company too. Yeah, like I said. What's going on, B Squirrels? Salute to you. Kid Wilson. I like Dorsey. He's all right. I'm not as high as I once was on him, but he's. If you want to say, main reason, Denzel Ward's here. Main reason why Nick Chubb's here. Fine by me. B Squirrels, what up? Did Brownie post game get out of the YouTube game? That's from another channel. Sorry. I had to talk about another channel. Justin Space. Andrew Berry loves black QBs. He pushed for Deshaun and his cousin. Kevin hated Baker for some reason. Yeah, I'm not getting into that. I don't think that's the issue, Justin. That's not the reason. That's not the reason. He literally had Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum on his quarterbacks, and he brought in Nick Mullins. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. What's going on, Momo? What else we got here? Appreciate it, B Scrolls. Appreciate that. Okay, well, I don't want Baker back for anything. He sucks. I'm not saying I wanted Baker. Like in that rant, I wasn't saying I wanted Baker back. I was saying that the whole thing of how they treated Baker was mostly Haslam's fault. Haslam came out and said that he wanted an adult at quarterback. They were done with Baker. Jason Lloyd even said that. They said they were done with Baker after 21. They were done. He came out and he said that adult comment. And he's the main reason. If Deshaun Watson doesn't get $230 million and Jimmy Haslam doesn't pony up $230 million fully guaranteed, Deshaun Watson's not the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. So everybody who's been complaining about Deshaun Watson, you can rest the complaint at the guy who pulled the trigger. Andrew Berry wasn't the one who pulled the trigger. He may have been the one that put the gun in Jimmy Haslam's hands, but it was Jimmy Haslam who pulled the trigger on $230 million. That's my thing. Knicks are getting whooped on by the Timberwolves. That's good. I'm a Dodgers fan, and we had DePodesta and did nothing. Yeah, well, it's because Paul DePodesta is not a good executive at all. He's just famous for Moneyball. And I don't think that team even went to the playoffs, too. So I don't, it's dumb. It is dumb. It's really dumb. The game where he went out there and played in below temperature and got beat by the Saints, I think somewhere in Watson's mind he was thinking he really don't want to play here for real. I mean, true, maybe, but If David Njoku catches the football, that's an easy touchdown to win the game. Plus, Amari Cooper slipped and fell in the back of the end zone. That would have been another touchdown. So he probably would have had 3 touchdowns that game. But yeah. Beast Scrolls maybe run to something. Now he has $230 million in the bank. Yeah, maybe. Let's be honest. If any of us own the Browns, we would want input on personnel. I mean, true, maybe, but the problem is that there's been a whole track record of Jimmy Haslam making the wrong decisions. He still doesn't understand that because he's so involved in the organization and because he puts himself in every little decision that the team makes, none of the stuff that he's been involved in has worked out. So at that point, that's why I said you have to look in the mirror at some point and go, is what I'm doing causing the team to suck? And I think that's the reason why I'm saying that. That's the reason why I'm believing it right now, is because the one constant that's been around for the last 11 years and the reason why the Browns have not been decent is because of Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam has decided every time. He's had so many decisions where you just go, what are you doing? Like, the reason why the Browns have not had constant success, in my opinion, is mostly because of Jimmy Haslam and the decisions that he's made for this organization. And I think a temporary problem has been the head coach and the GM. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not blameless, but if you want to point out about why are the Browns not successful, why have they sucked so bad the last 10, 12 years, there's been one constant this entire time, or 2 constants this entire time. Jimmy Haslam and Paul DePodesta. But Paul DePodesta is just an offshoot of Jimmy Haslam, because Jimmy Haslam doesn't want to fire Paul DePodesta because they're best buddies. So that's the thing. That's my thing. Sadly, I think he just doesn't want to look bad in front of the Cleveland crowd and skip the Niners game. I don't know. I don't believe in that at all. I don't believe in that the whole theory that's been going around with he doesn't want to look bad in front of teams or in front of good teams. Or he doesn't want to play against good teams, because he played against the Cincinnati Bengals in bad weather. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't. I just think that the Browns have so badly messed up this whole entire situation to where nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. And they have put this on themselves. I don't think Deshaun Watson's skipping out on playing against good teams. I don't think that at all. I think that's not a reasonable thing to believe. I just think the Browns have explained what's going on so poorly that fans have been just believing in stuff that may not be true. That's my thing. What else we got? Kid Wilson. What about Randy Lerner? He was criticized for not caring at all or being involved. Look what Carolina is going through. I'm not ready to give up on Haslam, Barry Podesta, and Kevin. Or Barry Podesta and Kevin are the problem. That's what I'm saying too. Okay? But that's what I'm saying, Kid Wilson. You can say they are the problem. I said yes, they are temporary problems. But the problem is that Jimmy Haslam has been around for the last 12 years. He's been around for the last 12 years. He legitimately was firing coaches left and right for like his first 12 year or first what? When did Andrew Berry come into office? 2020? For like the first 8 years of his tenure as owner of the Browns, he was firing everybody after like 1 or 2 years. Like yeah, they're temporary problems. Sure, they're problems, but Jimmy Haslam has not run this organization effectively. He's wanted to butt in on everything that the Cleveland Browns are doing, And it's hurt them in many, many situations. So I'm not saying I just think that he's just not doing a good job. He's not. I know that people wanted to give him like a good thing because he's spending all this money on this. The Browns are spending so much money. I'll give him that at least. He's spending the money and trying to get guys here. But the problem is that most of the time they spending the money has been on horrible stuff. Like Jack Conklin, Jed Wills, all these guys. You can maybe see to a certain extent Denzel Ward because of his injury history. I mean, like I said, there's been one constant through line throughout the entire last 12 years about why the Browns have not been good, and it's been Jimmy Haslam. Don't be like Jerry Jones, exactly. Watson should tell the fans how he's feeling, plain and simple. I agree, Ryan. I think that Deshaun Watson has totally messed this up. And, let's be honest here. It's the reports that some of these reporters have been tweeting out or have been saying about how he's told one reporter nothing, and now he told Tom Withers that he's going to be back soon. He's not helping either. But yeah, he needs to come out here and talk to the media and talk to the fans and say, this is what's going on. But also, too, the problem with that is that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, before the Ravens game, he came out and told everybody that he was going to play. He didn't play. He couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards. So that's another thing, too, that we have to talk about, too. We can all come out and say, yeah, Deshaun Watson, should he talk to the media and should he tell everybody what's going on? Yeah. But he did that 3 weeks ago. He said he was going to play. He couldn't throw the ball 10 yards. So, are we even going to get the truth from Deshaun? We don't know. He's not acting like the face of the franchise. That's abundantly clear. I agree. Rob Chizzinski got that Haslam fired after 1 year. Yeah, he did. He got fired after 1 year. I think he had Pat Shurmur his first year as owner, I think, right? He had Pat Shurmur, Chud, Mike Patton. We could just go down the list. What? Shurmur, Chud, Mike Patton, Hugh, Greg, Freddie, and then Kevin. 7 head coaches in 12 years. 7 head coaches in 12 years. And the people that have had multiple years was Mike Patton for 2 years. Then you had Hugh Jackson for 3, and then now you've had Kevin for 4. It's insane. But yeah, I mean, that's my thing. I could throw a ball 11 yards. I mean, I bet you can, Momo. But also the problem is that you don't have a strained rotator cuff, so you have to keep that in mind too. All right, let's see here. I want to talk about some stuff here with some reports with Deshaun. Because I said I would talk about that. But let's get into some of this other stuff here. Because I did want to point out some of the reports that the Browns media people have been saying. Okay. Let's get this pulled up here for you guys so that you guys can see this stuff. All right. Have I considered Watson as faking it? No, he's not faking it. He's not faking this injury, okay? Let's just be clear here. He is not faking this injury. That's what I said. He's not faking this injury. The problem is He's not faking this injury. Okay, let's be abundantly clear. I want to make it abundantly clear. He is not faking this injury, and I don't think he's not trying to play against good teams. I think the problem that has been going on is that the Cleveland Browns have either misdiagnosed this or they're lying about how bad his injury is. Because this whole entire thing, the last 3 weeks, I don't. Okay, Ryan, I don't know that unequivocally. You're right, but you don't know unequivocally that he's faking it or that he doesn't want to play a good team against good teams either. Okay, so there's two sides of the coin. But my thing is that I think that the Browns have not been 100% honest, or they don't know what's going on. That's the problem that I think is going on, because we've gone from shoulder contusion to bruised rotator cuff to rotator cuff strain. Either they know what's going on and that they've been trying to downplay it, or they don't know what's going on. But I don't think we can come out here and say that he's faking an injury or that he's, doing that. He's already shown he has questionable characteristics with the allegations. Okay, but that's 100% totally different from faking an injury. I'm not saying the guy's a saint. I'm not saying that. But this is a team. This is the team. This is not just on him. Wouldn't it be out of this world if the guy fleeced the Browns and is full? I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying that. But this is not just Deshaun Watson. This is the Cleveland Browns. This is Kevin Stefanski. This is Andrew Berry. This is the medical staff. This is not just Deshaun Watson. Integrity is what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is that Deshaun Watson's not the only guy that's at fault here. Like, Deshaun Watson, should he come out and talk to the media about what's going on? Yes. Should he tell everybody, how he's feeling, what happened, when did he start feeling this way? Was it during that hit against the Tennessee Titans? You went 8 for 9 and scored a 42-yard touchdown. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that he's faking an injury. I think that's out of the realm of possibility. I just don't think that he would do that. I don't think, and if that's the case, why haven't we heard any reports about it? If teammates are seeing that he's faking an injury, how come no teammates are coming out here and saying this guy's faking it? Like, I just don't see that. I don't think that they would do that. I don't think Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski would do that. He did weasel his way out of Houston. How do we know he ain't finessing the Browns for the bag and wants out? Okay. Okay, I think we're getting a little bit too conspiracy brain here, okay? We're getting a little bit too conspiracy brain. The reason why he wanted out of Houston was because, one, Bill O'Brien was not a good head coach, and he was the GM of the team. He traded away DeAndre Hopkins, who was his best playmaker and one of his best friends on Houston, okay? Two, the team was not good enough. They were sucking, okay? Third, then he had the allegations come out against him. He wanted to leave because he was sitting out for a contract and he wanted to get traded. I don't think that Deshaun Watson is wanted to get traded. I don't think he wants to get traded. Okay? I think what's going on is that the Cleveland Browns have 100% poorly, discussed what's going on with Deshaun Watson. That's the problem here. You can blame Deshaun for not coming out and talking to the media and telling everybody what's going on. But this whole thing is about Stefanski, Berry, and the medical staff coming out here and telling people that he's going to play. He's fine. He's day to day. We're working on it. He's going to play against San Francisco. He's going to be fine. And then now we're getting told that there's an injury that could last, 4 to 6 weeks. So you have to blame. You can't just blame Deshaun. That's my thing. Without Watson, we have fifth round rookie PJ Walker. He's a huge reason for this. Maybe don't trade jobs, but that's not Deshaun's fault though, Ryan. That's not Deshaun's fault. That's Andrew Berry's fault. He's the one who made the trade. And plus, we were all team DTR after the preseason. Everybody was team DTR over Josh Dobbs. We all said the same thing. I'm not going to blame Deshaun Watson for Josh Dobbs getting traded away when it's Andrew Berry's decision for him to get traded away. That's on Andrew Berry. Didn't he accuse the Texas owner of being a racist? I think he is a racist. I think there actually was evidence for him being a racist, though. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. That's the biggest problem, Benchwarmer. He's hiding and he won't let anyone know what's going on. It's odd for. Yeah, I agree. Justin. I think it is odd. But coming out here and saying that he's faking an injury, or that he doesn't want to play against good teams, or that he just thinks, he's counting his millions of dollars while the team sucks. I don't think that's true. That's my thing too. I definitely think he should talk to the media and tell people what's going on. But to think that he's like, oh my God, I'm screwing this team over. Wow, they're so dumb for taking me. That's not the case. Watson has to put some work in for Cleveland to trust him. I agree. But, what can you do? Watson is more responsible for this than Stefanski or Berry. In what way? Like, if you want to talk about the Ravens thing, sure. He was telling them that he was going to play. I can agree with you in terms of saying that he's ready and he's going to play for the Ravens game. I'll agree with you on that. But these last 2 weeks, no, this is on Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, because Andrew Berry said in his post game or his bye-week press conference, he is going to play against San Francisco. He is going to play after this bye week. Okay, so was Andrew Berry lying to the media? Were the medical staff telling him? Because you guys haven't mentioned a big thing either. The medical staff supposedly said that he was cleared to play, but that doesn't mean that he's able to play. So, is the medical staff wrong? That's my thing too. It's not just Deshaun Watson is hiding from people. It's not the fact that Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play football. The guy spent 700 days not playing football and he came back. I mean, I just don't see the whole connection between Deshaun Watson is somehow, some way, this evil genius that has come out and stolen $230 million, and he's only going to play 8 games or 9 games for the Browns, and now he's never going to play again. And that Stefanski, Andrew Berry, and the medical staff are all covering for him, and the rest of his teammates are all covering for him while he's faking an injury. I think that's not the case. I just don't see that. I don't think that's happening. I think that's really wrong. I think that is wrong. Misleading, and now he's letting Kevin and Andrew hold the bag. I don't think that. It's not the case. Because there's multiple other people involved here, guys. There's multiple other people involved here than just Deshaun Watson. There's Andrew Berry. There's the medical staff. There's Kevin Stefanski. Like, there's so many other players. There's reporters who said, I legitimately saw him using his left arm because he's holding his right arm down. He cannot use it. And the guy said, it's like what Myles Garrett had last year after the car accident where he couldn't put his shirt on. He couldn't throw the ball 10 yards. I don't think he's faking it. He is hiding bench. He can't talk into a mic. I'm not... Okay, I think we're just talking in circles here. I have said multiple times, I want him to talk to the media. I want him to talk to the fans. I'm not saying that he shouldn't do it. I want him to. Okay? But to think that he is misleading people And to think that he is faking an injury is wrong. I think that is wrong. I want him to come out and talk to us and tell us what is going on. Why can't you throw the ball? What is your pain level at? Where, like, are you throwing the ball more than 10 yards? Can you throw more or farther than what you could have before the Ravens game? What are you doing in your rehab? Are you not using your arm? Are you not using your shoulder? Are you icing it? What are you doing to get better? I would love to ask him those questions. But to think that he's faking an injury, that's wrong. I want him to talk. Yeah, Beast Gross, we have to hope he can turn into Geno Smith. It's not going to happen, though, but let's hope so. I agree, Justin. I agree. He needs to talk, at the very least. But the whole notion that he's faking it, or that he's decided that after playing 9 games for the Cleveland Browns, that he's going to count his money and laugh all the way to the bank, I think is ludicrous. I'm sorry. I think that's ridiculous. Okay. All right. Here, get the post here from Adam Schefter. This is the tweet. Yeah, okay, Ryan, I understand. Like I said, I want him to talk to the media too. I want him to tell us what's going on. But I don't think that, what do you call it? I just think that when you guys say he's hiding, or when you guys say that he's faking an injury, or that he's got his money, so now he doesn't want to play football again, I think that's just a ridiculous statement to make. That's my opinion, okay? I just think that we have to get over that mindset, because I think as Browns fans, I understand that we think that way. I understand that, but that's not the case. It's not the case. I don't think that's right. All right. We get this post from Adam Schefter that came out a couple hours ago. Like I said, before we came on here. Deshaun Watson is dealing with a deep rotator cuff contusion that has made it difficult for him to drive the football when he throws, but there is a belief that the Browns quarterback could be ready to play as soon as next Sunday against the Colts. That was the thing that came out. That was the thing that came out this afternoon, or this evening. And the problem with this statement is that, one, this is the whole crux of the argument and the reason why I wanted to do this live stream, okay? Because I did this video on Wednesday about what's been going on. But there's been so many new reports that have been coming out about Deshaun Watson and his statement. This was the big news that dropped a couple hours ago. And what do you call it? I'm not going to take this report 100% seriously right now. I'm not going to take it 100% seriously right now. Just because we have had the last 3 weeks of Stefanski, Watson, and Barry coming out and saying that he was going to play. We've had the Ravens game where Stefanski and Deshaun said that he was going to play. We had the bye week where Andrew Barry came out at the press conference and said Deshaun Watson is going to play against the 49ers this week. That, of course, turned out not to be true in either case. So, while yes, would I like for him to come back against Indianapolis? Yeah. But before Browns fans, like I know some of us are going to do, like some people in the media are going to do as well, I think that we have to take this report with a grain of salt. And we just have to see. I think we just have to wait until what the Browns say he's going to do. I'm just going to wait until 1:00 p.m. next week, Sunday, against Indianapolis, or like 11:30. I'm waiting until 11:30 in the afternoon, Sunday next week. Do you think Watson will be even on the sideline tomorrow? I think he will, because he was on the sideline last week or 2 weeks ago, I think he'll be on the sideline. And if he's not on the sideline, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If he can play against the Colts, he can play tomorrow. Something is weird. No, he can't, Justin. I don't think that's the case. Because the time for him to heal up is 2 to 6 weeks. Okay, so by the time, if this is the case, if he's going to come back for next week, it would already be a month since he got hurt. Because this would be 4 weeks since he was injured. Really 5. Because he got hurt in the Tennessee game. So it would have been, for the Indianapolis game, it would be 5 weeks since he got hurt. If he got hurt in the Tennessee game, excuse me. So between the Tennessee game to Indianapolis, it would be 5 weeks since that injury occurred. So, I don't know. Not a big deal to support your teammates on the sideline. Okay. Not every injured player is going to be on the sideline. Do I think he's going to be there? Yeah, I think he would be there. But I don't think it's going to be like Nick Chubb is not on the sideline. Granted, he had surgery. Okay, but not every injured player is going to be on the sideline. Bench, name another scenario in your NFL following days like this. It's his word against everyone. What do you mean? Like name another time where someone was saying something and it was like, but it's not just his word. It's Stefanski, medical staff, and it's like it's not just Deshaun's word. It's Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry's, and the medical staff's word. I mean, it's there's a whole other lot of people. It's like Lamar last year. I don't know. I think a lot of people are reading way too much into it. That's just my thing. And I just don't think I don't think it's as deep as a lot of people are reading into it, okay? I don't. I think that what we have had is that, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very I'm very burnt out, okay? I'm very burnt out. Ben Simmons syndrome. I don't know. But like I said, Tom Withers right here. Folks, here's the bottom line on Watson. Nobody knows. He could be back Monday. He could be back Wednesday, Thursday. He could play next week. He could miss next week. All unknowns, all speculation. Enjoy your night. That's my thing. We don't know. He's the only one who's saying that he can't throw. If a bonus was on the line, he'd have his ass out there. Okay, but at the same time, look what happened with Baker 2 years ago, Justin. Do we want a repeat of what Baker had? Because the whole thing with Baker, he was medically cleared to go. He had a torn labrum in his left shoulder. Okay? He sucked. And the reason why he was playing and not getting surgery was because he wanted to get a contract from the Cleveland Browns. So if I have to choose between Deshaun Watson, if Deshaun Watson's shoulder is injured, if his throwing shoulder is injured, do I want him playing to where he can aggravate it more or get a bigger injury? Or would I rather have him sit down? I'd rather have him sit down. And unlike Baker, you invested $230 million fully guaranteed and multiple first-round picks into. It is possible we got bent over with this trade. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, right? I'm not saying that it's not a bad trade. It's not turning out to be a bad trade. But what I'm saying is that we're getting way too conspiracy theory here. We're getting way too conspiratorial here. Baker gutted it out. Watson is doing the opposite. Justin, what happened to Baker? What happened to Baker? Baker Mayfield sucked. He sucked. He had 17 touchdowns and 14 picks. He was playing for a contract. And if he just sat out and got the surgery, he probably would still play for the Cleveland Browns and have more money. So I like Baker gutting it out. Yeah, did he gut it out? Sure. But it was to the detriment of the team. So would you rather have Deshaun Watson play not being able to throw more than 10 yards? Would you rather see Jerome Ford run the ball 50 times? Do you want to see that? Do you want to see Deshaun Watson throw flats? And do you want to see that? I don't understand what you guys want. Like, do you want him to not play well? Do you want the Browns to lose with Deshaun Watson as quarterback rather than have PJ Walker as quarterback and the Browns lose? Because that's where we're at right now. Him playing with an injury is not going to help things. It's true. It's just the fact. From what I understand is that when you're medically clear, you cannot make the injury worse. Okay, I don't know. I don't know about that. Baker was also homegrown and had Cleveland love. Watson, I'm sorry to say, has no backstory that we care about. He's been here for 8... Justin, he's been here for 8 games or 9 games. Like, of course, he's not going to have the same thing that Baker had. Like, we did not draft Deshaun. We traded multiple first-round picks and spent a lot of money on him. Okay? Of course, Baker's going to be different because we drafted him number 1 overall. And we had 3 years with him or 4 years with him as our quarterback. Of course it's going to be different. He's not going to be like Baker. We paid him a lot of money. We invested a lot of draft picks into Deshaun Watson. It's not going to be the same like Baker Mayfield. Okay? I understand that. That's why everyone, including the national media, is questioning him. Joel Bitonio, Miles would never question. But it's different. Miles has been here since 2017. Joel Bitonio has been here since 2014. The whole thing. Deshaun Watson. I don't mean to be assumption. I don't mean to make assumptions. Okay, but from what I'm hearing, is that you guys are upset because we gave up $230 million for this guy. We've spent multiple first-round picks and we traded him away to Houston for this guy. I understand he has been underwhelming. Okay, let's go full screen with me, okay? Because I need to make this point. He has been underwhelming. We have paid $230 million fully guaranteed for this dude. We spent multiple 3 first-round picks for this guy. We traded it away. Multiple pick swaps. He has been underwhelming. I understand that. Okay? But he has been here all of 9 games. We have not seen much from Deshaun Watson because he has not played a lot of games for the Cleveland Browns. But I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying, though, Justin. That's not what I'm saying. That's the point, Ben. You can't expect us to love Watson. I'm not expecting you to love him. I'm not expecting you to give him benefit of the doubt. What I am telling you is that Deshaun Watson's not the only person involved and to blame for this problem. It is not just Deshaun. It is on Kevin. It is on Andrew Berry. It is on the medical staff. That's the problem. There's so many more people involved in this situation than just Deshaun Watson. Kevin Stefanski came out last week and said Deshaun's going to play. He's been out there in practice watching the guy not be able to throw more than 10 yards. So obviously it's going to be more on Kevin than, Kevin's going to have to be involved. He's been out there watching the guy struggle to throw the football. I don't understand. And plus, he's not going to say, Deshaun Watson's not injured. He's the guy that's out there watching him practice. I don't understand. I don't understand. My thoughts: bench him this week because he'll probably lose no matter what. Then get him healthy for the next 3 games, which are all very. Yeah, sure, fine. I'm totally fine with that, President. I'm totally fine with that. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. If the injury can't get worse, wouldn't you take Watson at 75% over DTR and PJ? Sure, I'd rather take 75% Deshaun rather than those two guys. But the problem is that the problem with Deshaun is that his right throwing shoulder has a strain. He can't drive the ball. And the problem with, and that we all agree on, we've all said that we agree on, is that Deshaun Watson hasn't come out to the media and explained what's going on. Has he improved with his shoulder? Can he throw the ball better? We don't know. But from what we already know is that, we already know is that the guy couldn't throw more than 10 yards. So it's very different. I do not want to watch Deshaun Watson hand the ball off to Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong and Kareem Hunt 60 times. I don't want to see Deshaun Watson struggle to throw a ball to Amari Cooper or to Elijah Moore more than 10 yards, okay? Because I already know if Deshaun Watson goes out there, there's going to be Browns and struggle doing that. Deshaun Watson, people are going to go, why is Deshaun Watson playing? Why did Kevin Stefanski have him go out there and play when he's this hurt? What is going on? Like, we're going to be doing this, myself included. We would be doing that. That's my thing. I don't understand. He's the QB. That's the way it works. We all know that. I don't think so, guys. Guys, it's not happening. It's not happening. The good news is tomorrow we'll know what to expect, so we won't be disappointed. Yes, President, that's right. Even if Deshaun was going to play this week, the Browns are not winning. It's just fact. We're so banged up. Njoku's not playing. Joe Bitonio's not playing. I don't even know if Ethan Postage is playing. I mean, he can't drive the ball. It's the funniest thing ever. Gotta love this team. Glutton for... Okay. Guys, I don't believe him, and neither does his teammates and coaches. That's obvious from the press. Guys. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I think we've gotten way too far into this. My thing, I'm going with Tom Withers right here, okay? This is what I'm saying. We are all speculating. We don't know anything. That is the main crux of my argument. We do not know anything. We all agree here in the chat. Deshaun Watson should come out here and talk to the media. You should come out and talk to the media and tell us what's going on. But, God, I'm getting really frustrated, guys. I'm getting really frustrated. We don't know what's going on. Deshaun Watson has to come out and talk to the media. I agree. But Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, they both came out and said he was going to play. So, are they lying? Is Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry lying when they said he's good to go? Are they lying? We have to ask that question. Why did the medical staff come out and say, "Oh, it's only a shoulder contusion"? Then they come out later and they say, "Well, actually, it's a rotator cuff contusion." Now it's supposedly a rotator cuff strain. So there's 3 different levels of injury that have happened in the last 3 days. So there's multiple factors, guys. It's not just Deshaun Watson. The problem is that we do not know what's going on. We don't know what's happening. That's the problem. So to come out here, my problem, okay, and I'm going to come out and say it, My problem is that when we come out here and say this guy's faking an injury, or this guy's just saying, oh, I want him, oh, he's coming out here and he's taking $230 million and running into the bank and laughing his ass off and giving us the finger while he's doing it. The thing is that we do not know, because Deshaun Watson's not the only party in this thing that to blame. It's Kevin Stefanski, it's Andrew Berry, it's the medical staff, because they have come out and given us three totally different answers to the one problem, and that is what is going on with Deshaun Watson. It's not just Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is a piece of the problem. It's not the only part. That's my thing. Like, this is the problem. It's Deshaun Watson. He needs to come out and talk to us. He's not going to, okay? That's the problem. We'll see if he comes out Wednesday, because that's when he's supposed to talk every week. If Deshaun Watson comes out and talks Wednesday, I'll cover it. We'll talk about what's happening. I'll make a follow-up video from my Wednesday video from this week, okay? But my problem is that when we get to the point where we're saying a guy's faking an injury, or we're saying that this guy's just taking money and not wanting to play against tough teams, when we do not know what's going on, it's not just Deshaun's fault. It's Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and the medical staff for coming out and trying to give answers to a question that nobody knows. Like, that's the problem. Okay, we had other people talk here. I don't mind watching the Browns. The 0-16 season was kind of special. Watson lacks charisma and character. Yeah, sure. Sorry to go there, but is this injury nagging him so long because he can't get the same physical therapy? I didn't see anything from that, Justin. I don't think he did talk. He didn't talk today. I'm pretty sure about that. Because if he did, we would have saw reports from it. Unless you're talking about how he was on did a podcast. I mean, let's see here. But my thing is, I'm with Tom Withers. We don't know what's going on, guys. We don't. And the problem is that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski tried to give answers when there wasn't any answers. So, and this is what here, another thing. Jeff P. Howe, right here. National NFL insider from The Athletic. Came out here yesterday with a tweet. Put this up here on the screen. From Jeff Howe from The Athletic. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has a rotator cuff injury and has not yet been cleared to return to play, per source. Next week is a possibility. So, again, we have another wrinkle in the whole debacle. Because now you have Jeff Howe from The Athletic saying that he has not been cleared to return to play. So if he's not cleared to return to play, he can't play. Which means if he's not cleared to play, he cannot play. Therefore, he's injured. He's not cleared to play. He's medically cleared to play, but he's not cleared to play. That's the problem, guys. We don't know. That's my whole thing. We don't know. Because there's 50 different branching objects and questions and answers. Because you have Kevin Stefanski 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the dumb idiot coming out and saying he was medically cleared to play. Now, again, from Jeff Howe from The Athletic, the national NFL reporter for The Athletic, Watson has a rotator cuff injury and has not yet been cleared to return to play per source. Next week is a possibility. And what did we get from Adam Schefter? He has a rotator cuff injury, and they are expecting him to return as soon as next week. I don't know what else you guys want. I don't know what else you guys want. I don't. Most quarterbacks play with broken fingers and high ankle sprains. Justin. Okay, you have to be trolling with that answer. You have to be trolling. There's no other way. You have to. You have to be trolling. There's a difference between broken fingers, high ankle sprains, and a rotator cuff. And not being able to throw a ball because your rotator cuff is, you can't throw it with force. You can't throw it more than 10 yards. In Kevin's defense, he was asked point blank if he was medically cleared. Okay. If that's the case, then fine. I'm fine with that. But then, why does Jeff Howe say he's not yet cleared to play? So that's another thing. That's why I'm saying Kevin Stefanski, he has a part to play in this as well, guys. It's not just Deshaun. Kevin Stefanski gave an answer that's wrong. That's why I said Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry have come out and said stuff that is flat out wrong. God almighty. Oh, that's what I said. We don't know what's going on. We do not know what's going on. It is all up in the air. I will go back. All unknowns, all speculation. We don't know what's going on, guys. We were given answers by Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski that were wrong. The medical staff was wrong. That's my thing. This has been fun, Ryan. This has been very fun. Okay. That's why, okay, and I apologize for getting angry and going on that rant earlier. But this is my whole point. We don't know what's going on. And I think that the reason why we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks is because we don't want to talk about the fact that the Browns are going to get their asses kicked tomorrow. We don't want to talk about the fact that we're going to absolutely get our asses kicked. No matter who is going to play as quarterback, we're going to lose. Deshaun has thrown like 3 good passes as a Brown. We're just frustrated. We all feel it. He's thrown more than 3 good passes, but yes, we're all frustrated with how he's played so far. 100%. Okay? I understand that. And I said that as much. I understand. I understand why people are feeling this way is because he's under-delivered. He's not performed the way that we wanted him to perform, and he's not performed to the level that the Browns, promoted that he would. But my thing is that when we get to the point when we're talking about how a guy is faking an injury or he's not going to play because he doesn't want to play against tough competition, that's where I draw the line. Ryan, I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. They aren't going to get whipped. I hope so. I hope to God. I can come out here at 4:30 tomorrow and tell you guys I was wrong and that PJ Walker is going to lead the Browns to a Super Bowl. but I am 85%, maybe 90% doubtful that it's going to happen. I just hope we can catch the 49ers off their game. Hopefully the weather has something to do with it. Even if we win, we get over 500, 3-2. We would be helping the Eagles. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I mean, let's hope so. Am I going to the game? No, I'm not, Justin. I'm celebrating my birthday tomorrow, so I'm not going to the game. Plus, what do you call it? Tickets before Friday, the tickets were absolutely outrageous price wise. They were like going for like $120 per ticket. I spent like $400 on the tickets for the Bengals game. I spent like $150 for the Titans game. So we're chilling for a little bit at least. But I'm hoping to save up enough to go to the Steelers game. I'm hoping to save up enough to go to the Steelers game. But that's going to be expensive. And I'm hoping to go to the Jacksonville game as well, because I think that's going to be a very interesting game for the Browns. But yeah, I mean, also, I just want to say thank you guys for your support, for all your donations too, because without your guys' support, I would not be able to do this and go to those games. So I really appreciate your guys' support and your donations. So thank you guys so much for all of your donations. Just for helping me, be able to get to the channel and upgrade the quality of the content and go to those games in order to get you guys content. So I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you guys for all the happy birthday wishes. My birthday was actually a couple weeks ago, so but we're doing something for my birthday tomorrow. But I appreciate it. Cool, man. Enjoyed your vlog. They were cool. Happy birthday. Appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's all thanks to your guys' support. You guys are the main reason why I go, pretty much. I just want to say thank you guys for all your support. Like I said, the donations, the subscriptions, likes on the video, everything, the chats, everything. So I want to say thank you guys so much for just supporting the channel. And just like I said, without your guys' support, I would not be doing anything like this. So I would just say thank you again. But yeah, like I said, we're doing the post-game stream again tomorrow because you guys really like those. I've noticed you guys like those pre-game streams, excuse me. You like those before the games. I like doing them too, just to talk about what's going on. So we'll be doing that again tomorrow in the morning. We'll do the post-game reactions as well afterwards. Yeah. Like I said, make sure I haven't said it. We've been doing this. This is probably the longest episode of coming off the bench that we've had. This is the 5 episodes that we've done. But we've gone an hour and 43 minutes, and I have not asked you guys once. Please hit that like button on this video, and if you are new and you're in the chat, hit the subscribe button as well. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I think we're at 683 right now. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on the stream too, because it helps out in the algorithm. It gets more eyeballs here on the channel. So if you guys have not hit the like button or hit the subscribe button, do that right now. Really appreciate it. Good luck to you tomorrow against the 49ers. Thank you, Young League. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just say thank you guys again for your support. I mean, the last couple of weeks has been awesome for support. I know you guys also like that short I put out with Bill Cowher and Marty Schottenheimer. I know that one took off. I think that's got 8,000 views on Shorts. That was pretty good. I know you guys like that one a lot. But yeah, I would say thank you guys for your support. Like I said, the Cash App's there too if you guys want to feel like donating to the channel. We also have super chats enabled as well, so you guys can donate through super chats. If you guys do that, your message gets highlighted, so you guys get that perk as well. We also have channel memberships as well, so you guys can join for a monthly fee, made it relatively cheap. I think it was a $2.99, $3.99. There's 3 different tiers that you guys can do. So a lot of different ways you guys can support this channel. So I really appreciate all your support, whether you like, subscribe, donate, anything. I really appreciate you guys. So who knows? Maybe there'll be an update tomorrow pregame that Watson will be unavailable. Who knows? Who knows, Ryan? Who the hell knows? But like I said, it has been, the last couple of weeks have just been absolutely insane. It has been absolutely insane. I just, like I said, I just wish we knew what was going on. I just wish we knew what was going on. Because so far Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski have given us the wrong answers, and Deshaun Watson has not told us anything. So I don't know. I do not know what else to say about it, honestly. But yeah, let's end here we'll do the predictions for week 6. We're going to go an hour and 46 minutes. So we'll just do week 6 predictions to end it off. Let's get this set up here. Then we'll hit the record button as well. But we'll talk about the week 6 games besides the Thursday night game. Just because I had a midterm that night, so I could not really do a prediction video on Thursday just because I had a study. So I apologize about that. Let's get out here. Women watch General Hospital. We watch the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Wow. Voice crack. Wow. I've been talking for an hour and 47 minutes without any water. So this is what happens. My voice is starting to go. Yeah, we watch the Cleveland Browns as our soap opera. That is for sure. That's why it reminds me of if you guys watch Urinating Tree, or you guys see Days of Our Steelers. We need to do, maybe we can do Days of Our Browns, or the some other, like, what are there? There's General Hospital, Young and the Restless. We have to find a way to do. We could just do Days of Our Browns. We could just steal that idea from Tree. Who knows? But yeah, let's go Seahawks and Titans. But all right, let's go on with. We have week 6 prediction videos minus the Tennessee or the Thursday night football game. All right, let's kick things off. We have the London game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. I think I'm going to go with the Ravens here just because, they're going to be pissed off from the loss against the Steelers. I would expect Lamar to get back on track against one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. I don't think that Derrick Henry is going to be as good as he was against the Bengals. I just think that, the Ravens are a better team than the Titans. I'm going to take the Ravens to win. Next up, you got Commanders at Falcons. This is actually a decent game. I'm actually very interested to see how this is going to turn out. Desmond Ridder and the Falcons, they closely beat the Houston Texans last week. Commanders coming off their drubbing against the Chicago Bears. I want to take the Washington Commanders in this one, but I'm probably going to go with the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to surprise people, and I think they're going to beat the Commanders next tomorrow. I almost said next weekend, but yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons to win. Okay, next up we've got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. I'm going to take the Vikings. I think, Bears did well against the Commanders on Thursday last week. But let's be honest, they're not going to win against the Vikings. Kirk Cousins in that offense is good. The only problem is that Justin Jefferson's going to be out. So it's going to be up to like KJ Osborne and dudes like that. We'll see. But, I just think that the Vikings are a better team. It may be close, but I think the Vikings are going to squeak it out. Excuse me. Next up, we've got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This one is actually, I think, going to be a really, really tough game. Um, I'm going to go with the Seahawks, although the Bengals, I'm not surprised if they're going to win, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because they have been a better team throughout the season so far. Geno Smith has been pretty good. He's been, still keeping on his performance level from last season. Joe Burrow, he had a better game last week against the Cardinals, but it was against the Cardinals. Let's just be honest there. But he did look a lot better. But I have more trust in the Seahawks as a team. And we'll see how, Joe Burrow does without T. Higgins as well. So I'm going to take the Seahawks to win. Next up, we've got 49ers at Browns. Y'all know what I'm going to pick. 49ers all day. They're a 10-point favorite already. We'll see what's going on, but I just think the 49ers are going to win this one pretty easily. Next, another really interesting game. We've got the Saints at the Texans. Oh boy, this actually is a tough game. You know what? I'm actually going to pick the Texans. I think the Texans are going to win. I have a lot of faith in CJ Stroud. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple weeks ago. Lost a close game to the Falcons last week. I think they can beat the Saints. I definitely do. The defense for the Saints is going to be tough, but that offense for the Saints has not been clicking this season so far. I think Texans have an opportunity to do some pretty good things with this game. Next up, we've got a Week 1 rematch for the AFC South with the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew going back to his old stomping grounds in Jacksonville. I think it's going to be the Jaguars to win in this one. Better team. They won in Week 1 against them, but they had Anthony Richardson as the quarterback for the Colts. Colts I think, are a better team with Minshew as quarterback. I think they're a lot more formidable just because Anthony Richardson is still a raw rookie and he's very inaccurate. But I definitely think the Jaguars are a better team. It's probably going to be low scoring. I don't think it's going to be the high scoring shootout that it was in Week 1. So give me the Jaguars to win in this one. Next up, we've got the Carolina Panthers taking on the Miami Dolphins. I have no idea if Bryce Young is playing for the Panthers. It may be the Red Rifle with Andy Dalton. But obviously, I'm going to take the Dolphins. Even though the Dolphins are banged up, they don't have Achane as running back. He's out for multiple weeks. Dolphins are still, the best offense in football. It's not even going to be close, in my opinion. Next, you've got a really shitty matchup, in my opinion. It's no one's going to win watching this game. The New England Patriots taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Mac Jones, he may be out. Malik Cunningham brought up to the active roster. Could we see him play? We don't know. But yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders reluctantly just because the Patriots have I think they've only scored 3 points in the last 2 games. So not a recipe for success with Bill. Finally, Bill Belichick's in the hot seat over there in Boston. So we'll see what's going on there with him. But yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders to win. Next up, this is going to be a very entertaining game, in my opinion. You've got the Detroit Lions taking on the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Lions. I think the Lions are the real deal this year. I don't think they're going to be world beaters in the playoffs, but I definitely think they're definitely going to win the NFC North. I don't see the Packers or any other team from that division making a run unless the Lions absolutely trip over themselves and face plant. I just think the Lions are a better team than the Buccaneers. I think Baker probably is going to throw a touchdown and maybe have an interception. But yeah, see, the problem is that the Lions, this is a team where Baker Mayfield, he'll start off great. He gets that one team where, okay, this is your prove it game. This is your prove it game, Baker. Let's see what you're made of. He usually comes up short. So that's why I'm going to pick the Lions. I'm going to pick the Lions regardless, but I'm very interested to see what Baker Mayfield does tomorrow against the Lions. Okay, next up we've got the Cardinals taking on the Rams. Rams are coming off their loss against the Eagles, and the Cardinals are coming off their loss against the Bengals. The one key injury though for the Cardinals is that no James Conner. James Conner is out for this game with that injury they suffered against the Bengals. I'm going to take the Rams to win. They are a better team than the Cardinals. But yeah, I definitely think, Rams are probably going to win by 10 points, I would say. That's just my opinion. But I definitely think the Cardinals are a much better team than their record says. But that's just my opinion. Next, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Jets coming off of their monumental win against the Denver Broncos. Win for Nathaniel Hackett. Eagles are coming off of their win, I believe, against the Rams. I just talked about the Rams last game. I don't know why I said I believe. But they're coming off their win against the Rams. Obviously, I'm going to take the Eagles. Much better team than the Jets. Zach Wilson's still not a good quarterback. The defense for the Eagles is going to be insane. They just got Nakobe Dean back from the IR. They just activated him, I think, earlier today or earlier Friday. So, obviously, I'm going to pick the Eagles to win in this one. They're just a formidable team. I think they're the second best team in football. And New York does not have a shot to win in this game, in my opinion. Next up, you got a Sunday Night Football with Tyrod Taylor and the New York Giants taking on the Buffalo Bills. Bills coming off of their loss to the Jaguars in London. Definitely taking the Bills to win in this one because the Giants suck. The Giants plain suck. I will laugh for eternity that they gave Daniel Jones $40 million a year to suck as much as he does. I'm just glad that it's not the Browns or not the Lions. It is the New York Giants. I will laugh for eternity because Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. He is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And very dumb by the Maras and the New York Giants. Then we get to the Monday night matchup. We've got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the LA Chargers. This is going to be a Dallas home game on the road for sure. Dallas is going to come off against their loss against the 49ers. They're going to be so pissed off, especially on defense. I think the Cowboys win. Chargers are not a good team, in my opinion. I still don't think they're a good team. They are very overrated. I still think Justin Herbert's overrated. I think he is Matt Stafford 2.0. The Cowboys, I think, are still not a good team either. Their defense is legit. Their offense, I don't think, is that crazy good. But I think the Cowboys are going to win. Really, this is a game where I want everybody to lose because I don't like both teams at all. So I think everybody, no matter who wins, I think everybody loses in this game. But those are my predictions for week 6. Let me know your predictions down in the comment section below. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys all in another video. Take care. Okay, there's that week 6 prediction video. That will come out tomorrow morning, or I may put it out here tonight. We'll see. But Momo says, low-key Bucks fan, part of Doom watching Browns light up bake. We'll see. I mean, I hope the Lions win because Lions, are a Cinderella story for the season. Blessed with the Lake Erie Alliance. Have to support the Lions. That's for me at least. I'm looking forward to the ALCS Texas Showdown tomorrow night. To be honest with you, I have not watched a single pitch of playoff baseball. Beast Grills, to be honest with you. I have not watched a single minute of playoff baseball. I do not care about baseball right now. We'll see what the Gardos do with the manager. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah, I got the Cowboys bouncing back in that game against the Chargers. Yeah, I agree. I think they're a better team than the Chargers. For some reason, they're going to get Austin Eckler back for the Chargers. But I don't know. I'm not sold on the Chargers. I still think Brandon Staley's just a horrible coach. I don't think he's that good. Um, yeah, that's my opinion. But alrighty. Is there any other things in the chat that you guys want me to answer before we hang it up, or are we good for the night? We just hit the 2 hour mark, so I'll give like another minute here. If you guys have anything else in the chat you guys want to talk about, and if not, we might just call it here. But let me know what you guys want in the chat. Very fair. Peace out. Okay. We'll see. We got like, oh, wait, another 10 seconds here. We don't have anything. Browns 29-17, says Ryan. Okay. Let's hope so. See you tomorrow, Ryan. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for tonight. Coming off the bench, episode number 5. This is a doozy. This is a doozy of an episode. But yeah, that's gonna be it for coming off the bench. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched all the way through, you're an absolute madman. But thank you so much for watching. If you've watched all the way through, like I said, we're gonna be doing a Browns Niners pregame stream tomorrow morning. So make sure you guys are tuned into that. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification, and make sure you guys turn notifications all the way on so you guys are notified when I go live or if I upload a video. So make sure you guys do that if you haven't done so already. Hit the like button on the stream. It helps us out in the algorithm, gets more eyeballs here on the channel. Also, there's my Cash App, or you guys want to do any super chats, donations, anything like that. Greatly helps out the quality of the content here on the channel. It makes me go to Browns games, other stuff like that, try and do some more content ideas for the channel. So thank you to everybody who's already donated and already has helped out with this channel. Thank you guys so much for that. Thank you to everybody who has watched, who has come out and supported tonight's stream, tonight's episode. We had a lot of comments, a lot of interaction. Very, very interesting interaction with you guys tonight. This is what I envisioned this being, and I'm very, very happy that we were able to do this tonight. But yeah, I will we'll call it here. Thank you guys so much for coming out here on your Saturday night. Yeah, I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for Browns Niners pregame stream. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.